Welcome to Traveler's Tales. I am your host, Greg Alonzo. Today I will be your guide through history as we take a look at your questions and comments from part 1 of The Influence of Wine in Antiquity. Before we begin, just a quick reminder that we post new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Don't forget to hit the little bell icon to be notified each time we post new videos. Moving right along, mythology tells us one thing, while archaeology tells us another. Our first question is from Matthias. He wants to know what prompted the Greeks to travel about the Mediterranean and conduct trade. Matthias, good question. The vast majority of Greece is a rocky land. However, the Greeks did recognize that those products they could produce were in demand elsewhere. They also proved to be quite good at marketing their wares and generating interest. Next, we have a comment from Hector. He goes on to say that the wines of Attica proved to be the catalyst to spark Athenian trade. The Athenians proved to be great shipbuilders, nor did they fear the deep. It was only logical that they would excel in the import and export trade. Hector, you make a very valid point. I totally agree with you that the Greeks did not fear the deep. And they also proved to be master shipbuilders. As we saw throughout history, the Athenians built a marvelous navy for its time. Our next question is from Simone. She asks, did the ancient winemakers use oak barrels to make their wines? Simone, the aging of wine in wood comes much later. The prevalent practice was to make wine in amphorae clay pots. Our next question is from Sarah. She asks, why were the Greeks so influential in ancient times? Sarah, interesting question. There are many reasons that would answer your question. First, exposure. The Greeks went anywhere and everywhere to sell their products. I would also argue that this led to more curiosity and interest in who were these mariners from the far-off land of Greece. Lastly, as the Greeks developed colonies abroad, their culture spread throughout the Mediterranean. Let's press on. Now we have a question from Mariska. She asks, didn't other countries produce wine? Yes, Mariska, they did. However, with the exception of the Georgians, who were at the ends of the known world, very few countries made wine with the fervor of the Greeks. We have more videos on winemaking in antiquity, and we will attach these links to this video. Let's see here. Our next question is from Sebastian. He asks, how did the Greeks become such accomplished shipbuilders? Sebastian, excellent question. The Phoenicians were perhaps the best mariners of the day. However, the Greeks were quite diligent and their shipwrights worked to perfect their craft. This was also influential in the Greeks and their development of warships. I would also add that to the Greeks, the sea was a very important part of their livelihood, and they did not fear the deep. Lastly, I would say that the Greeks truly believed that the god Poseidon was with them. Now we have a question from Larissa. She asked, how did the ancient Greeks get their people to enthusiastically start new colonies? Larissa, the short answer is the promise of new land, economic opportunities, along with the spirit of adventure. Moving right along, our next comment is from Luigi. He jokes that he can understand diluting wine with water, but he is appalled at the thought of adding seawater. Luigi, I tend to agree with you. However, like most alcoholic beverages, it is an acquired taste. Keep in mind that this was a different time and with very different conditions. We still have time for a couple more questions. Let's take a look at this one from Howard. He asks, with the Greeks ever expanding throughout the Mediterranean, did this lead to many wars? Howard, unfortunately, it did. Expansion led to many wars over land, trade, monopolies, and so on and so forth. We all know the story of the most famous war, the war with Troy. Our last question is from Eunice. She asks, since the Greeks made such beautiful works of art, pottery, and utensils, did they find a lucrative market for these goods? Eunice, the ancient Greeks were prolific traders. Archaeologists have found Greek goods not only throughout the Mediterranean and Black Sea regions, it is also evident that the Greeks even traded their wares in the Near East. Greek culture, knowledge, and skills were a definite influence in antiquity. This brings us to the end of Part 2, the influence of wine in antiquity. Thank you for once again joining us for this edition of Traveler's Tales. Just a reminder that we post new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Don't forget to hit the little bell icon to be notified each time we post new videos. For your convenience, we have also posted our email address and Instagram information. We enjoy hearing from our subscribers. Please don't hesitate to contact us with any questions or comments you may have. If you haven't subscribed to Traveler's Tales, please do. This really is the best way to help our channel grow. Traveler's Tales will return with Was the City of Tartessos Merely a Myth? Until we meet again at the crossroads of folklore and history, Kartistos.